Hi everyone. First and foremost, this is a video from the real NV87, the blind NV87, the NV87 who doesn't care what the screen looks like. Excuse me. Of course, what that means is I am too blind to look in the viewfinder, too blind to know how to position the camera. And if you can't follow me with my eye, if you can't follow me with your eyes that actually work, sorry, not sorry. So I just thought I'd do a one take today about how to respond when things don't go your way at work. Here's what you don't do, in my opinion. You don't storm out, never to go back to work again. I mean, you just don't. Where is this coming from? In the state that I live in, we had something happen within Congress last year, our state Congress. Congress just was suspended for, God, what was it, 2 weeks? Because a whole section of Congress was it Congress? I think it was senators. Senators or representatives. I think it might have been senators. But whether they worked for the Senate or the House, it really doesn't matter. What matters is a group of them decided, we don't like this legislation that's on the table, and we're not going to support it. Well, in the name of not supporting it, they refused to show up for work. So Congress could not establish a quorum, and so they could not have a meeting. I've experienced there's no quorum. We really can't have a meeting. I have experienced that at a church I went to at one time. We had a congregational meeting, and I won't say I was the only one there, but it was me and a handful of other people, and they did a head count compared to the congregation, like the number of people that are in the congregation. They were like, okay, this is not a quorum. We really can't proceed with a congregational meeting when there's this few people here. So they had to reschedule the congregational meeting. Or we had to reschedule the congregational meeting. I believe I made it to that. I was not far from leaving that church, as it turned out. But that's neither here nor there. What the point is that I'm trying to make is whether you are in Congress for a while or today, to this year is your last year, and you're going to be elected out of office or not run again in November of this year, you're still a congressman, you're still a senator, you're still a congresswoman, you're still a senator, you're still a congressperson, you're still a senator. And when Congress meets, you're supposed to show up, unless you're literally like sick or something. But even then, that's you not showing up, and the rest of your coworkers can show up and the meeting will go on. Last year, Congress people, senators, excuse me, did not show up to work, and over a particular piece of legislation, it ended up dying, but it also ended up putting Congress on hold for days because people refused to show up to work because they didn't like that bill. Apparently, history is repeating itself. Last night, I was watching the news, and it was reported that, again, Republicans walked out. My channel was not, and still is not, intended to be a political channel. But whether you're whether you are a Republican, a Democrat, a independent, I don't really affiliate with any particular political party, but I have views that are of my own origination, and here is the presidential candidate that I support. No matter what political party you affiliate with, no matter what your beliefs are, if you have a job and things aren't happening the way you like, the answer is not to just not show up to work. And you might be going, okay, Ann, have you ever heard of a strike? Well, yes. Maybe that's what this amounts to, a strike. But I mean, I think there's a difference between a strike and what this is, at least in some ways. I mean, with a strike, you go on the picket line and you hold up signs and you know, what do we want? Decent wages. When do we want them? Now. You know, you're trying to make a point to your boss. Look, we as a union say the way business is going in our company sucks. You need to change something. And until we can come together and come to a compromise that we're all happy with, we're not going to work. I suppose you could say that's what these guys are doing, but I mean, all it seems to me like you're doing, you Congress people that are so disgusted by a bill that you won't go to work until they say, oh, fine, we'll abandon it again. I still don't think you're doing the right thing. Maybe this is your way of striking, but I think all you're doing is slamming the brakes on legislation of any kind. You're leaving our state in a situation where we can't change laws, period, because you don't like a piece of legislation. I'm no legislator, but we'll go back to the congregational thing. Suppose there was something on the meeting agenda, a motion that someone was going to put on the floor that was already pre-planned. This is what the motion was. My answer to, they want to do that? No, I don't think so, is not to not show up to the congregational meeting. My answer would be to show up, voice my concerns during the discussion phase, and when the vote came, I would vote no. Or maybe I'm confusing the way congregational meetings work with the way American Council of the Blind and National Federation of the Blind works. In those meetings, it happens the same way. Motions get put on the floor, and we vote on them. If I don't like a motion, I will voice my concerns. And then when it comes up, okay, it's time for the vote. All those in favor, get a bunch of ayes around the table. Opposed? I say no. Because I'm opposed to this. So opposed that I don't want to see this happen. That's how I would deal with, if I was a legislator, that's how I would deal with a bill that I don't like. I wouldn't, out of defiance of that particular legislation that wants to become law, storm out of work and never go to work in an effort to keep it from becoming law. That's not how you keep something from becoming law. You keep something from becoming law by showing up and saying, this doesn't need to be law, and voting against it. Now, if you and 3 other Congress people are the only ones that feel that way, and there's 25 Congress people in the legislature, unfortunately for you, it might end up being law anyway, because 3 opposed to 22 proponents of it, 22-3 it carries. You know, I know that's an example of something becoming law even though you don't want it to. But at least you tried to argue against it. What is not showing up to work doing? Is that trying to argue against something? Or is that just showing that you don't even want to work if the possibility is even there that this might be a law? I don't know. To not do your job because you don't like the way things might happen if you do your job and things don't go your way. Doesn't seem productive no matter what you want to do. Thanks for listening to me rant. It's taken a while. Sorry it's taken so long, I guess, but when you're doing a one take, that's kind of what you get sometimes. Thanks for watching. Please follow me on Twitter, or if you truly want to, on Facebook. Check out the description box below for services and petitions that I believe in. See, if you want to change things, you sign a petition and then go back to doing what you're supposed to do. You don't just not show up to work. If you don't like the way things are going at work, write a petition maybe and sign a petition and distribute it throughout your company. Hey, boss, please change the way this happens. And then you go on with your job. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video when you hear what I have to say.